Hello and welcome to Mailtrap videos, where we explore the world of emails. In this video, we will explain how to validate email addresses in Python. First, let's see how to do email validation using regex. We start off by importing the standard library RE module, which provides regular expression matching operations. And to see if everything works later on, we have prepared a few test email addresses. Once we have all of that ready, we can proceed with creating the function that will do the actual validation. To keep things simple, we'll name it validate. The function will accept one parameter, a string representing an email. For the function body, we'll define a regex pattern and an if-else statement. What your regex pattern should look like will depend on the criteria you want email addresses to meet. When it comes to the if-else statement, it should use the search function from the RE module to search for the regex pattern in an email. If it finds the pattern, the print function will be called to produce an email is correct output. If the pattern is not found, or in other words, if the email address is not valid, the print function will be called to produce an email is incorrect output. Okay, now let's validate the test email addresses mentioned earlier by calling, you guessed it, the validate function. Upon running the code, 2 addresses should pass as valid and 2 as invalid. As this is the output our code produced, we can deem it as accurate and functional. Next, let's move on to using Python packages to validate email addresses. These packages represent folders containing various modules as files. The first package we'll be using is called Email Validator. As it is not a built-in package, we'll have to install it by running the pip install email validator command. And upon installation, import 2 things from the email_validator module. Validate_email, a function that could be used to validate email addresses, and email not valid error, an exception class for handling errors. For the validate function body, this time we'll use the try except statement. In the try block, we'll create an object called email_info and assign it the value the validate_email function returns. The validate_email function accepts only one parameter, a string representing an email address. Then we'll create a variable called email and assign it to the value of the normalized attribute of the email_info object. If the value of the email variable is valid, an appropriate message will be printed. The except block will run if there are any errors in the try block code. It will also handle the email not valid error that we imported earlier, and print a message confirming the email address invalidity. The other package we can use to validate email addresses in Python is the py_email package. To install it, we need to run the pip install py_email command. And then we can proceed with importing the is_email function. We'll use this function within our validate function body by assigning the value it returns to the detailed_result variable. The function accepts 2 parameters, an email string, and the diagnose parameter, which has been set to true, so we can receive detailed diagnostic information about why the email address is considered valid or invalid. This description will be printed once the validation is complete. Upon running the code, we can see that this validation option is faulty, as it declared one of our invalid emails as valid. So do keep that in mind when you're deciding which one to use in your own Python code. Last on our list of email address validation options, we have validation using an API. The API we'll be using is offered by mailvalidation.io, where you can also find the API key, URL, and team slug, which is your unique identifier within this application. To test the functionality of the API, we will have 2 emails, one invalid and one valid. We'll also use the requests module, which will have to be installed and imported through the same process we used for the other modules thus far. As our team slug and API are stored in a separate Python document named key, we'll have to import them as well. Then we can proceed with building our API request within the body of our validate function. First, we'll create a variable named URL and assign it the value of the API URL containing our team slug. After that, we'll create a headers object and assign values to its attributes. The content type attribute defines what content type we'll be sending through the request. The accept attribute defines what content type we'll accept as a response. And finally, authorization is the attribute that defines what type of authorization we'll use, and should also hold the credentials necessary to authenticate the client making the request. With that out of the way, we can now create our JSON data that will be sent to the API. And after that, we can make the API request by defining a response variable and assigning it the value returned by the post function of the request module. This function should be passed the API URL headers and data. The request response will be stored in a variable named valid, and depending on its value, a message confirming or denying the email address's validity will be printed. We'll call the validate function for both of our test email addresses, and the expected responses should be not valid for the first email address and valid for the second email address. Once we run everything, we can see that the code is correct and entirely functional. And just like that, we've covered the ins and outs of email address validation in Python. We at Mailtrap hope you found this tutorial helpful. Thank you for watching this video brought to you by Mailtrap, an email delivery platform to test, send, and control your email infrastructure in one place. Like and share this video and subscribe to our channel to see more tutorials like this one. And we'll see you in our next video.